This lesson will prepare you for a factory assessment. You'll learn how to get ready for the assessment and effectively participate in the site assessment process. Let's suppose you're a general manager at a factory. You've received a request from one of your customers for your factory to undergo a labor assessment. Factory assessments evaluate the conditions in your facility against the customer supplier code of conduct and local laws and regulations. Customer codes of conduct cover labor, health and safety, environment, ethics, and management systems. The goal is to ensure that working conditions are safe, that all workers are treated with respect and dignity, and that business operations are environmentally responsible and conducted ethically. Let's say you're preparing for the assessment. You call a meeting with your compliance team. The first step is to gather documents from the customer's list of required documents. Your compliance manager says it could take a week to assemble all the documents. She'll need to work with a few members of the EHS and HR teams and schedule meetings with several key managers. Your HR manager says HR is very busy with ramp-up, and he can't spare anyone from his team. He says that assessment document lists offer suggestions, but you're not expected to have every document on the list. As long as you do everything you can to establish a friendly relationship with the assessors, they can usually overlook a few documents. Which manager's opinion would you go with? Brands want to work with suppliers they can trust to uphold their reputation. More than ever before, they're aware that transparency and ethics are the most important factors in their relationship with supplier factories. This lesson will explain their key requirements and show you how to demonstrate to your customers that you meet their expectations of transparency and ethics. Let's say you're the new compliance manager at a factory. During a recent assessment, one of your customers discovered a zero-tolerance violation. It turns out that your predecessor had submitted false books to the assessors. The records showed that workers were paid legal wage rates and worked a legal number of hours, even though it wasn't true. Why do you think they did this? Well, in the short term, it may be cheaper and easier to falsify records. It's not worth the risk. It can damage your relationship with current and future clients, and it means the underlying problems don't get fixed. In the past, assessors just wanted to see that everything was legal and might fail factories if they had problems with wages and working hours. Now the trend is going in the other direction. What do you think is the most important thing to brands? Transparency is more important than absolute compliance for common shortcomings like wages and working hours. Transparency is the ability for buyers to obtain information on the actual labor practices in factories, without information being hidden by factory management. Poor transparency can lead to automatic assessment failure, loss of business, additional assessment costs, and ongoing business problems such as high worker turnover, lost workdays, and ruined reputations. This lesson will prepare you to develop a corrective action plan, or CAP, in response to a factory assessment. You'll learn how to identify the root causes of findings and develop corrective actions to address them. Let's suppose you work for a factory that has recently undergone a labor assessment. The assessment found several nonconformances, and your customer has asked you to prepare a corrective action plan to address the findings. A CAP is a formal plan to correct each finding from the assessment. It identifies the root causes of each finding and outlines the corrective actions to be taken to remedy the issue and prevent it from reoccurring. Each action includes a deadline by which it's expected to be completed and a person in charge. Your customer may manage the CAP process themselves or have it managed by an external organization. Here, we'll call your contact at the customer or organization the CAP manager. In general, we can divide the CAP process into 6 steps. Receive CAP template. develop CAP, submit CAP, receive CAP approval, monitor CAP implementation, and close findings with evidence. Let's go through these steps one by one. Following the assessment, the assessor or your CAP manager will provide you with a CAP template containing all findings. The CAP template will be filled out with the findings from the assessment. Every finding is given a rating based on severity. Typically, ratings include 0 tolerance, priority, major, minor, and risk of nonconformance. To correct a nonconformance and prevent it from reoccurring, you need to understand why it happened in the first place, the root cause. Then you can identify corrective actions. The corrective actions should include immediate actions that correct the immediate issue and preventive actions that prevent it from reoccurring. First, you'll need to assign owners for each corrective action and set objectives or key performance indicators. Then determine completion dates within a reasonable time frame. As you complete a corrective action or a milestone along the way, you'll need to provide evidence, such as pictures or documentation.